The envelope hit the kitchen table like a slap. My father's was spilling out in crisp black ink. To my son, Austin Hayes. I leave $1. I stared at it. The single bill tucked inside like a cruel punchline, while my 7-year-old son, Riley, tugged at my sleeve from his booster seat, asking why Grandpa was so mean. Laughter erupted from the family gathering in our cramped Seattle apartment. My sister Sarah's cackle the loudest, her husband muttering about deadbeat legacies, and in that instant, something inside me cracked wide open. The weight of every hidden heartbreak I'd buried for Riley's sake crashing down like the relentless Puget Sound rain outside. I crumpled the dollar in my fist. The paper whispering accusations I'd heard my whole life. Worthless, Dad had called me the last time we spoke. 3 years before cancer hollowed him out. Worthless for coming out at 22. For choosing love over the family logging business. For raising Riley alone after my ex. Mark bailed when the pregnancy tests turned positive. Surrogacy dreams shattered by his fear of what people would say. Seattle's progressive veneer hid the barbs. Neighbors who smiled at Riley's soccer games but whispered about the fairy dad behind my back. And now this, his final fuck you, broadcast to a room full of relatives who'd long ripped me off. Sarah leaned in, her wine glass sloshing, eyes gleaming with that mix of pity and triumph. Come on, Austin. It's almost poetic. $1 for the one who ran off to play house with men. The room tittered cousins, aunts, uncles, all nursing beers from the fridge I'd stocked because hosting was my penance for being the black sheep. Riley, bless his oblivious heart, piped up from the floor where he was coloring a dragon. Daddy, is that money for ice cream? We can get 2 cones. I forced a laugh, scooping him up, his small body warm against my chest like an anchor in the storm. Maybe 3, buddy. Grandpa just wanted to make sure we had exact change. But inside, rage simmered, hot and familiar. I clawed my way through night shifts at the coffee roastery, scraping by in our 1-bedroom overlooking the ship canal, all to give Riley the stability Dad never gave me. Logs and lumber, that was his empire. Hayes Timber Company, passed to Sarah like a crown because she married right, popped out 2 kids the normal way. Me, I got disowned at the altar of heteronormativity, my queerness the original sin. As the night dragged on, the mockery morphed into maudlin toasts. Uncle Ray slapped my back too hard. Hey, at least it's more than he left the dog. More laughter. I slipped away to the balcony, Riley asleep on my shoulder, the city lights blurring through tears I wouldn't let fall. Why did it still hurt? Dad, and I hadn't spoken since he called me a disappointment after Mark left, implying my lifestyle drove him away. I'd swallowed it then. For Riley's sake, ultrasounds don't care about blood feuds. But tonight, that dollar burned like betrayal's receipt. The knock came at dawn, shattering the fragile piece I'd patched together with black coffee and Riley's cartoons. I shuffled to the door in sweats, expecting the landlord about the late rent. But there stood a man in a tailored wool coat, salt and pepper hair slicked back, carrying a leather briefcase that screamed money. Mr. Austin Hayes. His voice was smooth, East Coast polish cutting through the drizzle. I'm Justin Caldwell, estate attorney for your late father, Elias Hayes. I blinked, the name jogging loose in memory, Dad's old golf buddy, the one who'd vanished for years on business. Justin's eyes, sharp hazel behind wire-rimmed glasses, scanned me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. Not pity, not judgment, something else, like he was measuring depths I didn't know I had. There's been a complication with the will. May I come in? Riley bounded over then. Dinosaur pajamas rumpled, demanding pancakes. I waved Justin to the sagging couch. The apartment's chaos on full display, toys strewn like landmines. My sketchpad of half-finished portraits, my side hustle. Capturing families who weren't broken. Complication, I echoed. Flipping eggs one-handed. Like how he left me pocket change while Sarah gets the keys to the kingdom. Justin's lips twitched. Not quite a smile. Precisely why I'm here. Your father included a codicil, a contingency. That dollar wasn't the end. It was a test. He slid a folder across the counter. Gold embossed seal glinting. Inside, maps, deeds, photos of a sprawling estate I'd never seen. Nestled in the Cascades. All mist-shrouded pines and manicured lawns. Elias suspected fraud in the family. He wanted to see who would gloat, who would grieve. You, mister. Hayes, you mourn quietly. No calls to contest. No vulture circling. So, the real inheritance transfers to you. My spatula clattered into the sink. Real, as in Hayes Manor. 60 acres. The original timber holdings. Valued at over $12 million. And a trust for your son, college. Future. Whatever you dream. He paused, gaze softening on Riley, who was stacking blocks into a wobbly tower. Elias spoke of you often. In the end. Regrets. Mostly. Said you had his artist's eye, not his axe. I sank onto a stool, the world tilting. 12 million? For me. The punchline? Visions flashed. Riley in a real house. Not the shoebox. Art classes for me. Not just stolen hours. A life where I wasn't the cautionary tale. But doubt crept in. Acidic. Why hide it? Why the game? Justin's jaw tightened. A flicker of something personal. Anger? Grief? Your father was a complicated man. Pride masked his pain. He knew about you. Austin. About Mark. About Riley. Wanted to make amends without the fanfare. He stood, buttoning his coat. I'll drive you up today. See it for yourself. Pack light, we'll handle the rest. I hesitated, glancing at Riley's beaming face. Syrup smeared. This felt like a trap. Another Hayes family riddle designed to break me. But what if it wasn't? What if, for once, I was the one who won? Give us an hour, I said, heart pounding like a bass drum in some indie rock anthem. As Justin nodded and stepped out, I caught my reflection in the window, haggard, hopeful, a gay dad from the wrong side of the wheel, staring down a fortune that might just rewrite our story. The drive wound north from Seattle. I-5 giving way to twisting mountain roads flanked by evergreens that whispered secrets in the wind. Riley chattered from his car seat about castle adventures, oblivious to the seismic shift. Justin drove a sleek black Audi, radio tuned low to some NPR segment on climate refugees. Ironic, given Dad's logging legacy. Silence stretched between us, thick as fog rolling off the sound, until I couldn't stand it. So, you were close to him, Dad. Justin gripped the wheel tighter. Knuckles balling. Partners in more than golf. He confided in me when family. Fractured. Partners. The word hung. Loaded. Was that why Dad trusted him with this? A queer ally in the straight-laced world of boardrooms and backroom deals? I studied Justin's profile. Strong jaw. Faint laugh lines. The kind of quiet confidence that came from boardrooms. Not bar fights. Mid-40s. Maybe. But with an energy that made the cab feel charged, like the air before a storm. And you? No family grilling you over a buck. I teased, lightening the mood. His chuckle was low, genuine. Divorced. Twice. They called me the workaholic Ice King. Truth is, I was hiding. The echo hit too close, me. Closeted in high school. Then out and battered by small-town stares when I moved to Seattle for college. Mark and I had been a whirlwind. Tattoo barista meets aspiring architect. building dreams until Riley's arrival cracked the foundation. Hiding from what? I pressed, bolder than I felt. From this. He glanced over, eyes locking mine for a beat too long. Heat flushed my neck. Oh. The cab hummed with unspoken history. Two men navigating the ruins of expectation. Riley's snores from the back broke the spell, and Justin cleared his throat. Elias wanted you to have it all. Austin. Not just the land, the chance to heal. We crested the pass, and there was Hayes Manor, emerging like a ghost from a mist. Victorian grandeur wrapped in ivy. Turrets piercing the sky. Stables converted to guest houses glinting in the weak sun. My breath caught. This was Dad's secret heart. The empire he'd built from scratch after Mom died young, leaving him to raise Sarah and me in a drafty cabin. I'd summered here as a kid, sketching birds while he barked orders at crews. But after I came out, the invites dried up. Now, it was mine. Ours. Justin parked by the fountain, water tinkling like wind chimes. Welcome home, he said softly, and for the first time in years, I believed it might be true. But as we stepped inside, the grand foyer echoing our footsteps, a shadow stirred, Sarah's car crunching gravel in the drive. She'd followed us, her face a mask of fury, and with her, the first fracture in this fragile fairy tale. What the hell? Austin, you think $1 makes you king? Sarah stormed the foyer like a nor'easter, her heels clicking fury on the marble, phone already dialing her shark of a lawyer. This is bullshit. Dad promised me the manor, who stood by him through chemo, through everything. Her eyes, so like Mom's, blazed with betrayal. But underneath lurked fear, the kind that gnaws at legacies built on shoulds. Uncle Ray trailed her, red-faced, muttering about queer favoritism, while Aunt Lila hovered, wringing her hands like a Greek chorus of regret. I held Riley close, his confusion a shield against the venom. Sarah, I didn't know. The codicil, it's ironclad. Justin stepped forward, folder in hand, his presence a calm bulwark. MS. Hayes. The will's been notarized. Elias's instructions were clear. Character over bloodlines. Character, she spat the word, circling me like a prosecutor. You, who abandoned us for? For your parades and your husbands? Dad pitted you. Austin, that's all this is. The slur landed like a slap, echoing the taunts from our teen years, when she'd protect me by outing my crushes to the football team. Riley whimpered, burying his face in my neck, and something primal snapped. Get out, I growled, voice low. This isn't your fight anymore. But she didn't budge, launching into a litany of grievances. How I'd skipped Dad's birthday for a lover's getaway. It was Mark's proposal. Pre-Riley. How my lifestyle embarrassed the business at investor dinners. Justin interjected smoothly, citing clauses, but the damage seeped in doubt. That old friend, whispering I didn't deserve this. What if Dad's test was rigged? What if my queerness was the punchline after all? We retreated to the library, Justin locking the door against their pounding protests. Riley, wide-eyed, asked if Aunt Sarah was the dragon from his book. I chuckled weakly, settling him with a picture book of local wildlife. Elk, bears, the Cascades, quiet guardians. Justin poured scotch from a decanter that smelled of oak and old money. Handed me a glass. Breathe. They're grasping at straws. His hand brushed mine, lingering a fraction too long. An electricity arced, raw, unbidden. I pulled back, heat rising. Flirting? Now, with Riley dozing on a leather chaise. And my world appending? You make it sound easy, I muttered, sipping the burn. Like betrayals don't scar. Justin's gaze dropped, vulnerability cracking his armor. They do. Elias, He lost a brother to the closet. Back in the 80s. AIDS. Unspoken. It hardened him, made him push you away to protect you. This estate? It's his atonement. He sank into the armchair opposite, legs crossed, the firelight casting shadows that softened his edges. And me? I was the fool who loved him. Quietly. For years. Never said it. Too scared of the fallout. The confession hung, heavy as the mahogany shelves groaning with first editions. Hemingway. Steinbeck. Tales of men wrestling demons. Loved him. Dad, my straight-laced, Bible-thumping father, the scotch soured in my gut, a mosaic of hurt reassembling. The late nights Dad spent golfing, the photos of him and Justin arm in arm at charity galas. Always platonic in caption, but charged in subtext. You. And him. I whispered. Pieces slotting. Why Justin knew my sketches. Why he glanced at Riley with such unguarded tenderness. He nodded, pain etching lines around his mouth. We met in law school, bonded over being the other in rooms full of wasps. But Elias built walls. Family. Legacy. I stayed friend-zoned, hoping. When he got sick, he asked me to handle this. For you. His voice cracked, and I saw it then, the mirror of my own ghosts. Loving in silence, losing to pride. Impulsively, I reached across, squeezing his knee. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, our eyes met, and in that charged silence, possibility flickered, not lust, but recognition. Two survivors charting unknown waters. The door rattled, Sarah's voice. Shrill, but we ignored it. The moment hours. By evening, the sheriff had escorted them off, temporary restraining order in hand. Justin arranged security, his efficiency a balm, while I explored the manor with Riley, the solarium bursting with orchids, Mom's favorites, the attic studio primed for my easel. Dinner was takeout Thai on the veranda, stars pricking the velvet sky, Riley giggling over pad CEW. Daddy, are we princes now? He asked. Sauce on his chin. Something like that. Kiddo, I ruffled his hair, chest aching with gratitude and terror. This windfall could buy freedom, better schools, therapy for the scars Mark left, a gallery show for my portraits. But shadows loomed. Sarah's lawsuit loomed via text. You'll regret this. Traitor. And deeper. My own fears. Could I trust this? Trust myself not to fuck it up. Like every queer kid warned I would, Justin lingered after tucking Riley in, the guest room's fairy lights casting a glow. Stay the night, I asked, casual but not. He hesitated, then nodded. We talked till midnight, his failed marriages, beards. He admitted Riley. My surrogacy saga, Mark's panic attack at the clinic, the ache of holidays alone. Laughter wove in, tentative, like first snowflakes. When he stood to leave, our hug stretched, his cologne, cedar and citrus, lingering. Tomorrow, we faced the board. Together, as he vanished down the hall, I touched my lips, pulse racing. Hope, dangerous and sweet, bloomed. But dawn brought the call, Mark, my ex, on the line from Portland. Heard about the lotto win. Ouse. Riley needs a real dad now. Let's talk custody. The words gutted me, yanking me back to earth. Betrayal's second act. Courtesy of a man who'd sworn forever then fled. I clutched the phone, manor walls closing in, Justin's footsteps echoing from the kitchen like a lifeline I wasn't sure I deserved. Weeks blurred into a frenzy of legalese and revelations. The board, stuffy suits from Dad's era, eyed me like an interloper, but Justin's briefs dismantled their resistance, proving the codicil's watertight seal. Sarah's suit dragged, depositions dredging family dirt, Dad's affair rumors Justin's ghost. My irresponsible coming out as if love were a ledger. Riley thrived. Though new tutor, pony rides in the stables, his joy a fierce motivator. Yet nights, doubts clawed. Mark's texts escalated. Think of the boy. A mansion won't fix your choices. Homophobic barbs masked as concern, stirring nightmares of courtrooms. Riley's face crumpling as I lost him. Justin became confident. Our walks the manor's winding paths, turning confessional. You're stronger than they know, he'd say, hand brushing mine, sparks igniting. One stormy afternoon, under the library's vaulted ceiling, it crested. Rain lashed windows as we poured over truss stocks. Riley napping upstairs. Why help me like this? I asked, voice raw. After Dad, because I see him in you, the quiet fire. He cupped my face, thumb tracing my jaw, and I leaned in, lips meeting in a kiss soft as fog, tentative, then deepening with years of withheld breath. No rush, just unraveling, his fingers in my hair, my hands on his waist, the world narrowing to heartbeat sync. We broke apart, foreheads pressed. It's not part of the will, he murmured. Half joke, half prayer. But Mark's shadow loomed larger. He showed up unannounced, slick in chinos, demanding visitation rights with a custody petition in hand. You can't raise him alone in this freak show, he sneered, glancing at Justin's coat on the hook. Riley clung to me, scared of the angry uncle, and I saw red, the betrayal, not just abandonment, but weaponizing my love against me. Mark's intrusion shattered the fragile equilibrium, turning Hayes Manor from sanctuary to siege. He paced the drawing room, petition flapping like a battle flag. His lawyer, a weaselly type from some Portland firm, nodding along. The child's best interest, Mark intoned, voice dripping false piety, not your experiments in domesticity. Experiments. As if Riley were a science project, not the light of my goddamn life. Justin hovered in the doorway, arms crossed, his lawyerly calm a thin veil over fury. I stood firm, Riley hidden with the housekeeper in the kitchen. You signed away rights. Mark, 2 years ago, remember? When daddy duty cramped your style. Bitterness laced my words. Dredging the night, he packed, citing irreconcilable differences while I cradled our newborn. Surrogacy contract be damned. He flinched, but rallied. That was before. Now you've got this windfall. Judges love stability. And let's be real. Austin, 2 dads, in court, Seattle's woke. But juries. He trailed off. Implication clear, queer panic. The ghost that haunted every custody battle. Sarah had tipped him off. I knew it. Her text a ceasefire only on paper. Her grudge festering into alliance with my past. Justin's voice cut in, steel-edged. Threats won't hold in family court. Mr. Riley, we've got affidavits. Psych evals. Your history of absence speaks louder than any inheritance. Mark whirled, sizing him up. And who the hell are you? The new boy toy. The room iced. Justin's face drained. Old wounds reopening. Dad's shadow. The friend-zoned, lover-reduced a punchline. I stepped between them. Chest tight. He's family counsel. And my friend. Leave? Mark. Before I call security. He left. But the petition landed days later, alleging unfit parenting with doctored emails, me neglecting Riley for dates, twisted from coffee runs with Justin. Panic clawed, visions of supervised visits. Riley shuttled like contraband. I barely slept, pacing the manor's halls. Ghosts of Dad's disapproval whispering I'd fail, just like he feared. Justin found me at dawn in the solarium, orchids drooping like my resolve. We'll fight, he said, pulling me into an embrace that smelled of rain and resolve. His arms, solid around me, cracked the dam. Tears came, hot and unbidden, soaking his shirt. I can't lose him. He's all I have left that's pure. You won't. His voice vibrated against my temple, hand stroking my back in slow circles. We stayed like that, rain pattering, until resolve hardened. He pulled strings, top family lawyer from Seattle, a queer advocate who'd won landmark cases. Depositions loomed, but so did hope. Riley's school reports glowing, neighbors' letters praising my devotion. Yet the real fracture came from within. Sarah cornered me at a neutral cafe for mediation, her eyes red-rimmed. Armor cracked. I hate you for this, she hissed over lattes. But Dad, he whispered your name in the hospital. Tell Austin I'm proud. I buried it, because admitting you won meant I lost. Her confession gutted. Sibling rivalry a mask for her own grief. Marrying into the business to fill voids Dad left. The manor's mine by blood, she pleaded. Sell it. Share. For family. Family. The word twisted, laced with exclusion. You mocked me. Sarah. Call me broken. Now you want scraps. Bitterness surged. But empathy flickered. Her life a cage of expectation. 2 kids she adored, but resented for chaining her. We parted unresolved. Her hug fierce. A truce teetering. The climax erupted at the will reading's formal hearing. Courthouse in Bellingham, a sterile arena under fluorescent glare. Board members. Sarah's camp. Mark's sleaze, all arrayed like adversaries in some HBO drama. Justin presented. Voice steady, unveiling Dad's video testament. Grainy hospital footage. Him frail in bed. Eyes fierce. Austin, my boy, if you're seeing this, you passed the test. Not for greed, but grace. The dollar was my shame, for pushing you away. You're the heart of Hayes. Take it. Love fierce. Like I couldn't. Gasps rippled. Sarah's sob. Mark's scowl. Then the twist. Dad's voice cracked. And Justin, forgive me. You were more than counsel. My regrets, not loving louder. The room froze, outing Dad posthumously. His queerness a bombshell shattering legacies. Whispers erupted. Elias. No way. Uncle Ray bolted. Face ashen. I stared. World refracting, Dad. Not monster, but man. Caged by ear as iron. Understanding flooded. Softening edges. His distance protection. Not disdain. But betrayal stung fresh. Why hide till death? Justin, beside me, trembled. Hand finding mine under the table. Squeeze saying volumes. Mark's lawyer folded post-video. Petition crumbling under the emotional weight. Sarah conceded the suit. Her apology whispered later. He was like you, Austin. Hiding. I see it now. Tears mingled. Siblings reconciling in courthouse shadow. The manor no longer prize, but bridge. Yet victory soured that night. Alone in the studio, easel mocking my inertia, doubt crashed. Dad's secret mirrored mine. Loving Justin felt like stepping on graves. Risky. What if I hurt him? Like Mark hurt me? Riley knocked, climbing into my lap. Daddy sat. I held him, whispering no, but the lie tasted ash. Justin knocked next, concern etching his brow. Talk to me. Words tumbled, fears of repeating cycles, of queerness's curse. He listened, then cupped my face. Your dad's ghost doesn't own us. We write the next chapter. His kiss, urgent yet tender, sealed it, passion-banked, but promise ignited. In his arms, Manor's weight lifted, love not inheritance, but choice. Months healed fractures. Sarah visited, tentative playdates with Riley bridging gaps. Mark faded, a footnote in therapy sessions. The estate thrived, I opened it for queer youth retreats. Portraits capturing stories like mine, hidden pains, resilient hearts. Justin moved in. Our mornings coffee scented, evenings stargazing with Riley. His laughter the true fortune. But peace carried undercurrents. One crisp fall day, rifling Dad's attic trunk, I found letters, Justin's, unsent professions from decades past. Dad's replies curt, evasive. Heartache anew, lost years, unspoken truths. Confronting Justin over dinner, rain-lashing pains. I laid them out. Why stay? After this, his eyes, haunted, met mine. Because love isn't ledger. Elias taught me that, in his way. And you make me brave. We wept, then laughed, toasting ghosts. Betrayal transmuted to empathy, depth forged in fire. Riley's 8th birthday dawned golden, manor alive with balloons, cake from the local bakery, Sarah grilled burgers, Uncle Ray awkward but present, amends and small gestures. Justin knelt, offering Riley a sketch pad like mine. For your stories, champ, my son's grin, gap-toothed, pierced deepest. As dusk fell, Justin and I slipped to the garden, wisteria blooming defiant. This, he murmured, hand in mine, is the real inheritance. Stars wheeled above, cascades sentinel. And I believed him, love, messy and profound, outshining dollars. Winter gripped the manor like an old grudge, snow blanketing the grounds in hush. But inside, warmth bloomed, fires crackling. Riley's sled races down the east slope, his whoops echoing like freedom bells. I'd hired a curator for the grounds, turning orchards into community plots for Seattle's food banks. Dad's timber legacy redeemed in roots, not stumps. My portrait sold at a Capitol Hill gallery. Faces of queer elders who'd paved my path, wrinkled hands clasped, eyes defiant. Proceeds funded scholarships. Riley's idea for kids like me, Daddy, with 2 dads who love big. Justin's integration was seamless, yet profound. Mornings he'd draft briefs at the oak desk Dad favored. Evenings we'd cook his risotto flawless. My chili a spicy rebellion. Intimacy unfolded slow, reverent, shared baths scented with eucalyptus. His fingers tracing my stretch marks from surrogacy stress, calling them warrior lines. No rush to labels, just us, rebuilding from ruins. But undercurrents stirred. Sarah's visits grew frequent, her laughter genuine now, but laced with confessions over wine. I envied you, Austin, your courage to live loud. I played safe, and look, hollow, her marriage frayed, husband resenting the manor's gay takeover. Empathy bridged us, but tension simmered, her subtle probes about Justin. He's good for you? Really? As if queerness were a phase to outgrow. The real storm brewed from Mark's quarter, a ceasefire shattered by a late-night voicemail. Found something else. About your dad's partner. Leverage. Meet or Riley pays. Heart plummeting. I played it back. Static crackling like lies. Leverage? Dad's outing was public now. Tabloids dubbing him Lumberlord's secret. Sensational. But faded. What dirt could Mark wield? I didn't tell Justin. Shame's old habit, protecting him from my messes. Instead, I drove to Portland alone, fog-shrouded highways mirroring my dread. Mark waited at a dive bar off Burnside, nursing a IPA, smug in the neon glow. Sit, he drawled, sliding a manila envelope. Inside, photos grainy, from years back. Me and Justin, post-hearing hug twisted intimate. Dad and Justin at a 90s fundraiser, arms slung casual but charged. Paternity fraud, Mark leered. Suggett's contract says traditional family. You faked it with his silver fox? Courts eat that up. Sign over assets. or I sue for fraud. Fury blinded, his pettiness a venom born of rejection, weaponizing my joy. You left us. Mark, this is spite, not justice. He shrugged, eyes cold. Spite sells. Think Riley wants headlines? Gay dad's sham empire? I bolted. Envelope clutched like contraband. Rain slicking streets. Back home. Manor lights a beacon. Guilt crashed. Justin waited, concern sharpening his features. Where were you? Lies tumbled. Errands. Gallery stuff, but his gaze pierced. Hurt blooming. Austin. Talk. We're in this. The dam broke over midnight tea. Envelope spilling secrets. Justin scanned. Face ashen. He's bluffing. The photos prove nothing. But this. It's low. His hand trembled on mine. Vulnerability raw. I won't let him touch you. Or Riley. But doubt festered. Misunderstandings deepening. Days later, Sarah called. Frantic. Mark's filing. Says the will's invalid. Dad's immoral influence. She'd overheard her husband on calls. Feeding Mark intel. Betrayal doubled. Family fracturing anew. I confronted her at the manor. Riley at school. Voices rising in the foyer. You knew? And said nothing. Tears streaked her face. I thought it'd blow over. Protecting the name, our name. Her plea cracked. Love twisted to legacy. But remorse genuine. Forgive me. Like Dad wanted. We collapsed. Siblings in heap. Sobbing for lost time. Justin mediated. His calm salve. But the rift with him widened. My secrecy a wall. His unspoken fear of history's repeat. Climax crested at the emergency hearing. Bellingham courthouse packed. Press sniffing scandal. Supporters from the gallery clutching signs. Love wins legacies. Mark's team paraded evidence, spinning Dad's queerness as manipulation. Me as beneficiary of unnatural ties. Whispers rippled. Fraud, sham. Riley waited outside with Sarah. Her hand in his a fragile truce. My turn, voice steady. I took the stand. First person truth ablade. This isn't about money. It's about a father who hid to survive. Who gave me a chance to live open. Mark left when it got hard. Surrogacy. Diapers. Doubts. Justin? He stayed. Not for dollars. But hard. I met his eyes across the room. Love a lifeline. We're building something real. For Riley. For us. Gasps. Then applause, judge. A silver-haired woman with a rainbow pin. Bang gavel. Dismissed. Mr. Riley, your claims reek of malice. Mr. Hayes, the estate's yours, unencumbered. Cheers erupted, but my victory tasted bittersweet. Mark slinking out. Defeated glare promising echoes. Aftermath, Sarah divorced. Moving nearby with kids. Co-parenting Riley in patchwork family. Mark vanished. A ghost exorcised via restraining order. Justin and I, though, misunderstanding peaked that night. Manor quiet under snow. You shut me out, he accused. Packing a bag in the study. Hurt raw. Like Elias did. Am I just a rebound? Words failed. Then flowed. Fear. Not doubt. Losing you terrifies more than courts. He dropped the bag. Embrace fierce. Then don't. We're not them. Laughter through tears. Commitment sealed. Not rings. But vows whispered under quilts. Bodies entwined in comfort. Not conquest. Spring thawed secrets. I finished Dad's portrait. Eyes kind. Hand on Justin's shoulder in imagined peace. Hung in the gallery to acclaim. Riley asked once, was Grandpa like us? I nodded. Honest, yeah. Buddy. Loving brave. In his way. Years folded. Manor a haven for queer families. Retreats blooming like wisteria. Justin proposed on our anniversary. Under that archway, rings simple silver. Wedding small, Sarah maid of honor. Riley ring bearer. Vows exchanged at sunset. Cascades witness. Now, a decade on, Riley sketches his own stories. Off to college soon. Pride swelling. Justin and I, silver threaded, walk those paths. Hands linked. The dollar, framed in the foyer. Reminder, tests passed. Not in wealth, but worth. Betrayals forged us stronger, deeper, human. In America's vast heart, we found ours, messy, profound, unapologetic. And in quiet moments, I whisper to Dad's ghost, we made it. Thanks to you.